Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're stuck in the same place? Like your energy is drained, your confidence is fading, and your dreams seem further away than ever? You're not alone. Most people don't realize that the biggest reason for their struggles isn't a lack of talent, intelligence, or hard work. It's the people they surround themselves with. Every single day, you give away your energy, sometimes to people who don't deserve it. People who bring negativity, doubts, and distractions into your life. Toxic people. The ones who make you second guess yourself. The ones who take but never give. The ones who make you feel guilty for wanting more. And if you're not careful, they will slowly steal the life you're meant to live. But here's the truth. Your life will change the moment you shift your focus away from them and onto yourself. And in this video, you'll discover exactly why cutting off toxic people is the most powerful decision you will ever make. Stay with this till the end, and you'll walk away with the mindset shift that will make you unstoppable. Why this message matters now, right now. You might be telling yourself, I can't just walk away from people. It's not that easy. And you're right, it's not. That's why so many stay stuck, wasting years in unhealthy relationships, draining friendships, or negative environments. But think about this. How much more of your life are you willing to lose? Your time is limited. Every second spent on people who bring you down is a second stolen from the future you're supposed to build. Psychology proves that our brains absorb the emotions, habits, and energy of the people around us. You are becoming like the people you surround yourself with. So ask yourself, are they pushing you forward or pulling you back? Are they inspiring you or exhausting you? If someone constantly fills your mind with doubt, if they make you feel small, if they drain you instead of uplifting you, why are they still in your life? The hidden cost of toxic people, most people don't recognize how damaging toxic people are because the effects aren't always obvious. It's not just the big betrayals or the hurtful words. Sometimes it's the little things, the constant negativity, the way they make you question your worth, the way they convince you that your dreams are unrealistic, the way they keep you emotionally trapped, making you feel like you owe them your time, your energy, your loyalty, while they give nothing in return. And over time, this takes a toll. Your mind becomes cluttered. Your motivation fades. You start doubting your potential. This is how people lose themselves, by giving their energy to the wrong places. But what if you took all that energy back? What if you redirected it? What if instead of trying to please, fix, or tolerate toxic people, you focused 100% on yourself? The moment everything changes, the most successful, confident, and fulfilled people in this world didn't get there by accident. They made a choice to focus on themselves, to walk away from negativity, to protect their peace. And the moment you decide to do the same, everything changes. Imagine what your life could look like if your mind was free from unnecessary drama, if your energy wasn't wasted on people who don't value you, if every single day you focused on your growth, your goals, and your happiness. The power has always been in your hands. The only question is, are you ready to take it back? And this is just the beginning. Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why cutting off toxic people is necessary, but you'll have the exact mindset shift that will make you unstoppable. Have you ever wondered why you feel so exhausted, even when you're doing nothing? Why your mind feels heavy, your energy is drained, and your motivation keeps slipping away? You wake up with good intentions, but by the end of the day, it feels like something or someone has pulled you in 100 different directions, leaving you empty. This isn't a coincidence. It's not just stress. It's not just life being unfair. More often than not, it's the people around you, the ones who demand your time, your attention, your energy, but give nothing in return. The ones who turn every conversation into negativity, who make you feel guilty for wanting more, who drain you, manipulate you, and keep you stuck. And here's the truth. Your life will not change until you learn to cut them off. Because no matter how much you want to grow, if you're surrounded by the wrong people, you will never reach your full potential. But if you stay with this video until the end, you will discover something life-changing. The mindset shift that will set you free. The moment you truly understand this, you'll never see relationships the same way again. Why? You're stuck. Most people don't realize that their biggest problem isn't lack of opportunity, intelligence, or motivation. It's their environment. Human psychology proves that we absorb the energy of the people we interact with the most. If you're constantly around negativity, doubt, and drama, guess what? It becomes a part of you even if you don't want it to. Think about it. Have you ever shared your dreams with someone only for them to laugh or dismiss it? Have you ever felt excited about something only for a negative person to shut you down? Have you ever tried to be happy only for someone to remind you of everything wrong in the world? It's not in your head. Toxic people manipulate emotions. They create chaos and confusion, and worst of all, they make you doubt yourself. This is how they keep control. The more exhausted and uncertain you feel, the less likely you are to leave. The more you tolerate, the more they take. So the real question is, how much longer are you willing to let this continue? The cost of toxicity. Here's something most people don't think about. Every single interaction you have costs you something. Every conversation, every argument, every moment spent with the wrong person takes away from your energy, your focus, your peace. And what do you get in return? Nothing. Just more stress, more drama, more wasted time. But the real danger isn't just the exhaustion, it's what you're missing out on. Every time you give your energy to toxic people, you're stealing from yourself. You're stealing from your future, from your dreams, from the version of you that could have been unstoppable if only you had protected your energy. And the worst part, you might not even realize it's happening. Toxicity is like a slow poison. It drains you little by little until one day you wake up and realize you don't even recognize yourself anymore. The power of walking away now, let's be honest, cutting people off isn't easy. We hold on to relationships out of guilt, out of history, out of fear of being alone. We convince ourselves that things will change, that if we just try harder, give more, or be more patient, things will get better. But deep down, you already know the truth. Some people will never change. Some people will never support you. Some people will never bring peace into your life. And the longer you hold on, the more of yourself you lose. Here's the mindset shift that will set you free. Walking away isn't weakness, it's power. It's a decision to stop begging for respect and start demanding it. It's a commitment to protecting your energy, your peace, and your future. It's about choosing yourself, even if no one else does. And when you do this, when you finally cut off the people who drain you, everything changes. You get your energy back. Your mind becomes clear. Your motivation returns. You start seeing possibilities instead of problems. Because here's the secret. You were never the problem. It was never about you not being good enough, smart enough, or strong enough. The problem was the environment you were in. And now you have a choice. Stay stuck or break free. The choice is yours. This is your moment, right now, to stop making excuses, to stop waiting for people to change, to stop letting toxic people control your life. Focus on yourself, cut them off, protect your energy, because the life you want, the success you dream of, the happiness you deserve, it all begins the moment you decide you're worth more. And this is just the beginning. Stay with this video because what's coming next will give you the exact tools you need to take back control. Your transformation starts now. Every time you choose yourself, you step into a new reality. A reality where your energy is no longer wasted on people who don't value you. A reality where your focus is sharp, your mind is clear, and your confidence starts to grow. But here's the challenge. When you start changing, the people who benefited from your weakness will try to pull you back. They will call you selfish. They will make you feel guilty. They will remind you of everything you used to be, hoping you'll slip back into your old patterns, not because they care, but because they fear losing control over you. And this is where most people fail. They hesitate, they second guess, they go back thinking maybe they overreacted, but you need to understand something. Toxic people don't lose good people. Good people lose themselves by staying in toxic situations. The hardest part of walking away isn't the decision itself. It's standing by that decision when the pressure to return becomes overwhelming. It's resisting the urge to explain yourself to those who will never understand. It's choosing your peace, even when it means disappointing others. Because here's the truth. If protecting your energy upsets someone, that person was never for you. It's easy to feel like you owe people an explanation, like you need to justify why you're cutting them off. But listen carefully. You don't owe anyone anything. Not your time, not your attention, not your energy. The only thing you owe is to yourself, the commitment to never let anyone drain you again. This is the moment when you redefine your boundaries. And boundaries aren't just about saying no to toxic people. They're about saying yes to yourself. Yes to your growth. Yes to your happiness. Yes to becoming the person you were meant to be. Some people will never respect your boundaries because they benefited from your lack of them. They thrived when you had none. When you allowed them to cross lines, disrespect your time, and play with your emotions. And now that you've stopped tolerating it, they feel threatened. Let them feel it. Every time you choose peace over drama, strength over weakness, self-worth over validation, you take back your power. But here's what no one tells you. Taking back your power is lonely at first. When you start removing toxic people, your world might feel empty. The silence will feel unfamiliar. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if you made the right choice. That's the test. The test to see if you can handle the loneliness that comes with transformation. Because in that silence, something incredible happens. You start hearing yourself again. You start rediscovering the things that make you happy. You start feeling lighter, as if a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. The chaos fades. The noise disappears. And for the first time in a long time, you can breathe. And then something even greater happens. You begin attracting the right people. The people who see your worth without you having to prove it. The people who celebrate your success instead of feeling threatened by it. The people who inspire you to be better instead of dragging you down. But you'll never meet those people if you're still entertaining the wrong ones. You can't move forward if you're still holding on to what's been breaking you. So remind yourself, you are not responsible for fixing people who refuse to change. You are not responsible for carrying people who refuse to grow. Your only responsibility is to yourself, to heal, to evolve, and to protect your energy at all costs. Because at the end of the day, your life is yours, your peace is yours, your happiness is yours, and no one has the right to take that away. Let this sink in. Your energy is currency. Stop giving it away to people who do nothing but drain you. Every time you invest your emotions in someone who doesn't appreciate you, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you let someone's negativity consume your mind, you give them power over you. And every time you keep toxic people in your life out of fear, guilt, or habit, you betray yourself. But here's the reality. You can't build a strong, peaceful life with people who thrive on chaos. You can't move forward if you keep looking back, hoping that someone will change, hoping that someone will finally treat you the way you deserve. Some people won't change because they don't have to. You keep tolerating their behavior, so they keep repeating it. The cycle only ends when you decide that you've had enough. Not when they apologize, not when they finally see your worth, not when they promise to do better, but when you choose yourself over their games. That's the moment everything shifts, because the second you stop responding to toxicity, it loses its power over you. The guilt they try to make you feel, it stops affecting you. The manipulation, it no longer works. The need to explain yourself, it disappears. Because deep down you realize the people who truly care about you wouldn't put you in a position where you have to choose between them and your peace. But be prepared. When you finally cut people off, they'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. And they'll be right. You have changed. You've stopped settling for relationships that drain you. You've stopped excusing people's toxic behavior. You've stopped prioritizing people who wouldn't even notice if you were struggling. That's not selfish. That's survival. That's growth. That's self-respect. And the people who truly matter will respect your decision even if they don't understand it. This is where true freedom begins. When you stop looking for external validation and start trusting yourself. When you stop giving people unlimited access to you. When you stop explaining yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Because let's be honest, some people don't want to hear your side of the story. They just want to hear enough to twist it against you. Some people don't actually care about your feelings. They just want to see how much control they still have over you. So stop playing the game. Stop engaging, stop proving, stop explaining. Just walk away. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. You'll feel a void where those people used to be. You'll be tempted to reach out, to check in, to go back to the familiar. But remind yourself, you don't miss them. You miss the idea of them. You miss the version of them you created in your mind. The real version of them, the one who lied, manipulated, drained you, and took your kindness for granted, that person is not who you miss. That person is who you survived. So don't go back. Keep moving forward. Because the moment you close the door on toxic people, you open the door to peace, to clarity, to real connections that don't leave you feeling exhausted. And that is what you deserve. Not people who tolerate you. Not people who take advantage of you. Not people who only come around when they need something, but real people who love you for who you are, who respect your boundaries, and who add to your life instead of taking away from it. But you'll never find them if you keep making space for those who were never meant to stay. Let's get one thing straight. Protecting your peace is not a crime. Choosing yourself is not selfish. Cutting off toxic people is not cruel. It's necessary. It's survival. It's growth. People will try to convince you otherwise. They'll guilt trip you. They'll call you heartless. They'll remind you of all the good times to manipulate you into staying. But remember this, a few good moments don't erase a pattern of toxicity. A few laughs don't make up for years of stress. And a few fake apologies don't mean they've changed. Real change isn't in words, it's in actions. And if someone's actions have consistently drained, disrespected, or devalued you, they do not deserve a second, third, or 10th chance to do it again. Here's the truth. When you start prioritizing yourself, your circle will shrink. The people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will be the first to call you difficult. The ones who controlled you with guilt will say you've become distant. And the ones who used you will play the victim when you finally walk away. But don't let their reaction shake you. You are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your own well-being. Because every time you let toxic people stay in your life, you teach yourself that your peace is less important than their presence. And that's a dangerous lesson to keep repeating. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with heavy rocks. Each rock represents a toxic person, a stressful relationship, a situation that no longer serves you. How far do you think you'll go carrying all that weight? How long before it breaks you? Now imagine dropping those rocks, one by one. Imagine the weight lifting off your shoulders. Imagine moving forward with ease, with lightness, with freedom. That's what happens when you remove toxic people from your life. Suddenly you can breathe, you can think clearly, you can focus on what actually matters. You start to feel like yourself again. But here's where most people get stuck. They know they need to walk away. They know certain people are harming them. But they keep asking, what if I lose everyone? That's fear talking. That's your mind clinging to the familiar, even if the familiar is painful. Because as humans, we crave connection. We fear loneliness. We worry that if we let go of certain people, we'll have no one left. But here's the irony. You're already lonely in those toxic relationships. You're already feeling unseen, unheard, undervalued. The difference is, when you remove those people, you make space for the right ones. The friends who don't make you second guess yourself. The relationships that don't feel like a battlefield. The people who support you without conditions, without manipulation, without making you feel like you have to earn their kindness. But you'll never meet them if you're still entertaining those who were never meant to stay. It's time to release the fear. It's time to stop choosing comfort over growth. It's time to stop clinging to the past and start stepping into your future. Because the truth is, your life is yours to protect. Your energy is yours to guard. Your happiness is yours to prioritize. And the moment you truly understand that, you become unstoppable. People will tell you to be patient, to tolerate, to keep the peace. But what they don't understand is that peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the absence of toxicity. It's not about keeping people in your life just to avoid tension. It's about making sure that people in your life actually deserve to be there. You have spent too much time explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. You have given too many chances to those who never planned to change. And you have sacrificed too much of yourself for people who never once considered what you needed. And here's the harsh truth. People don't change just because you love them harder. No amount of patience, kindness, or sacrifice will turn a toxic person into a good one. Change only happens when someone chooses it for themselves. And most people, they don't want to change. They just want you to stay the same, silent, accepting, easy to manipulate. But the moment you decide to stand up for yourself, everything shifts. The moment you start saying no, start setting boundaries, start demanding respect, the people who thrived off your weakness will feel threatened. They'll call you difficult. They'll call you selfish. They'll say, you've changed. And you know what? That's the goal. Because if you're still tolerating the same disrespect you did years ago, if you're still allowing the same negativity into your space, then that means you haven't grown. It means you've stayed stuck, choosing the comfort of familiarity over the discomfort of growth. But you deserve better than that. You deserve to be around people who don't need you to shrink for them to feel big. People who don't expect you to carry their burdens while they refuse to carry their own. People who don't see your kindness as an invitation to take advantage of you. Because let's be honest, the wrong people will drain you and make you think you're the problem. They will project their own insecurities onto you. They will make you feel like you're asking for too much when all you're asking for is basic respect. But here's the truth you need to hear. Protecting your peace is not being dramatic. Setting boundaries is not being mean. Choosing yourself is not being selfish. You have every right to cut ties with people who constantly bring you stress, drama, and negativity. You have every right to remove yourself from situations that make you feel worthless. You have every right to walk away from relationships that do nothing but hurt you. Because life is too short to keep watering dead plants. Too short to keep justifying why you let yourself suffer. Too short to keep allowing people to disrespect you just because you've known them for years. Length of time does not equal depth of connection. Just because someone has been in your life for a long time doesn't mean they're meant to stay forever. Some people are just lessons, some people are just chapters, and it's okay to turn the page. Growth means outgrowing. Healing means letting go. And success means refusing to let anyone hold you back just because they're afraid of being left behind. Because when you finally let go of the people who were never meant to stay, something incredible happens. You make room for real connections, for real happiness, for real peace. And isn't that what you deserve? People will try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They'll say you've changed, that you're too distant, too cold, too different from the person you used to be. And they're right. You have changed. You're no longer tolerating what used to drain you. You're no longer giving energy to things that break you. You are evolving. And the people who benefited from your old self will hate that. But here's what they won't tell you. Growth is supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to separate you from the things, the habits, and the people that no longer serve you. And that process, it's not easy. It will be painful. It will be lonely at times. But what's even more painful, staying stuck in a place that no longer feels like home. People who are meant to be in your life will celebrate your growth. They won't demand you to stay the same just to keep them comfortable. Real connections are not built on guilt. They're built on mutual respect, understanding, and love. And love, real love, doesn't require you to break yourself into smaller pieces just to make someone else feel whole. You have spent too much time prioritizing people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. Too much time showing up for people who never show up for you. And deep down, you know this. You've known it for a long time. You've felt the weight of their absence, even when they were standing right in front of you. You've felt the loneliness of being surrounded by people who don't truly care. And now you have a choice. Continue shrinking to fit into places that don't deserve you, or finally step into the version of yourself that has been waiting to be unleashed. The version that doesn't beg for attention. The version that doesn't seek validation from people who will never give it. The version that doesn't waste time on relationships that are only held together by history instead of love. Because, let's be honest, some people don't love you. They love what you do for them. They love your loyalty, your kindness, your generosity. But the moment you stop overextending, the moment you stop sacrificing your own well-being, they pull away. Not because you did something wrong, but because your presence was only valuable to them when it was convenient. And that realization, it's not something to be sad about. It's freedom. It's a wake-up call. It's the permission you've been waiting for to finally walk away. Walking away doesn't mean you're bitter. It doesn't mean you're angry. It means you respect yourself enough to no longer settle for less than you deserve. It means you're finally choosing to invest in people who invest in you. It means you're no longer wasting your energy trying to fix relationships that were never meant to last. And here's the most important part. The right people will never make you feel like you're too much. The right people will never make you question your worth. The right people will never make you feel like you have to prove yourself just to be loved. So if someone is making you feel like you're hard to love, they are not your people. If someone is making you feel like your presence is a burden, walk away. If someone is constantly draining you, manipulating you, making you feel small, cut them off. Not because you're cruel, but because you finally understand that your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves access to it. This is your life, your happiness, your peace. And if someone doesn't respect it, they don't deserve a place in it. There comes a point in life where you must decide. Do you continue allowing people to drain your energy, or do you finally reclaim your power? It's easy to make excuses for others, to tell yourself that they didn't mean to hurt you, to believe that if you just give a little more, love a little harder, maybe they will change. But the truth is, you cannot heal people who refuse to heal themselves. You cannot force someone to appreciate you, respect you, or love you the way you deserve. And the more time you spend trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed, the more you lose yourself in the process. You give away pieces of yourself to people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. You pour from an empty cup, thinking that somehow, if you give enough, they'll finally see your worth. But they won't, because the problem was never you. It was the fact that you were trying to get love from people who didn't even love themselves. You are not responsible for saving people who refuse to save themselves. You are not obligated to carry the weight of others when they won't even lift a finger for you. Love should not feel like a never-ending cycle of exhaustion. It should not feel like a battle to be seen, heard, and understood. So why are you still holding on? Why are you still waiting for people to change when they've shown you time and time again exactly who they are? The answer is simple. You're afraid of what will happen when you finally let go. You're afraid of being alone, afraid of what people will say, afraid that cutting them off means you've failed. But the real failure is betraying yourself. Just to keep toxic people comfortable. You deserve relationships that add to your life, not ones that make you question your worth. You deserve to be around people who uplift you, not those who keep you trapped in cycles of emotional chaos. And that starts with you. It starts with setting boundaries, with choosing yourself, with finally understanding that not everyone deserves access to your energy. And yes, at first it will hurt. You'll grieve the loss of relationships you thought would last forever. You'll miss the idea of the person you once believed they were. You'll have moments of doubt, wondering if you made the right decision. But with time, you'll realize that the greatest act of self-love is choosing your own peace over someone else's toxicity. Not everyone will understand your decision. Some will call you selfish. Some will try to guilt you into staying, but that's because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. They liked the version of you that tolerated their mistreatment. They liked the version of you that kept giving without expecting anything in return. But now, you are becoming someone different, someone stronger, someone wiser, someone who refuses to settle. And here's the thing. When you finally let go of toxic people, you make room for the right ones. The people who will cherish you, respect you, and love you without conditions. The people who will pour into you the same way you pour into them. The people who will remind you that you were never too much, you were just giving your love to people who were too little. This is your life, your happiness, your future. And the moment you decide to stop entertaining what drains you is the moment you step into the life you were always meant to live. There comes a time when you must ask yourself, why am I still giving my energy to things that bring me pain? Why do you keep trying to prove your worth to people who treat you as if you're disposable? The answer is not because you are weak. It's not because you don't see the truth. It's because deep inside you still believe that if you hold on just a little longer, if you just give them one more chance, maybe, just maybe, they will finally value you. But that day never comes. because people who take you for granted do so because they know you will always be there. This is why cutting toxic people off is not just an act of self-care. It is survival. It is reclaiming your life before you lose yourself in the process of trying to fix someone else. It is choosing peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and self-respect over settling for less than you deserve. But here's what most people won't tell you. Letting go isn't the hardest part. The hardest part is staying gone. Because even after you walk away, the memories will try to pull you back. The loneliness will whisper to you at night, making you wonder if you made the right choice. And that's where most people fail. Not because they didn't have the strength to walk away, but because they didn't have the discipline to stay away. The truth is, your peace will always cost you something. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you the illusion of security that came from tolerating what was breaking you. And that is why so many people choose to stay in toxic cycles. They are more afraid of the discomfort of healing than they are of the pain they are used to. But what if you could push through that discomfort? What if you could sit with the pain, process it, and come out on the other side stronger than ever? Because that is exactly what happens when you choose yourself. The storm will pass, the sadness will fade, and one day you will wake up and realize that you feel lighter, freer, like you can finally breathe again. And here's something powerful to remember. Toxic people will always try to come back. Not because they love you, not because they have changed, but because they see that you are healing. They see that you are breaking free from the grip they once had on you. And nothing terrifies a toxic person more than losing control over someone they once manipulated. So they will test you. They will send messages pretending to miss you. They will act as if they have suddenly realized your worth. But understand this, if they truly valued you, they would not have put you in a position where you had to walk away in the first place. You owe it to yourself to protect your energy, to stop reopening doors that were meant to stay closed, to stop revisiting places that drained you. You owe it to yourself to move forward and never look back. Because the moment you finally commit to walking away from toxicity, your life will begin to change. You will attract better people. You will find clarity. You will learn to love yourself in ways you never did before. And most importantly, you will understand that choosing yourself was never selfish. It was the most powerful decision you ever made. There is something powerful about walking away and never looking back. But the real challenge comes when you are alone with your thoughts, when the silence creeps in, and the familiar urge to reach out, to explain yourself one last time, starts whispering in your mind. That's where most people fail, not because they don't know what's right for them, but because they are still attached to the idea of who they thought that person could be. Understand this. You are not missing them. You are missing the version of them you created in your head, the version that was kind, caring, and capable of change, the version that in reality never truly existed. You are grieving the hope that kept you holding on, not the actual person. Because if you take a step back, if you really analyze how they treated you, you will see something undeniable. They were never who you needed them to be. And that's where the breakthrough happens. The moment you accept this truth, everything changes. The pull to go back weakens. The need for closure fades. You stop looking for explanations because you realize that no answer will ever be good enough to justify the way they treated you. And once you reach this place, you take back your power. But here's the thing, people don't like it when you take your power back. Toxic people survive by keeping you in a loop of self-doubt. They want you to believe that you are the problem, that you are overreacting, that you are too sensitive. And when you finally break free, when you stop responding, when you stop feeding their ego, they panic. So what do? They try to rewrite history. They try to play the victim. They tell others a version of the story that paints them as the hero and you as the villain. And that is when you will be tested. Because nothing tempts you to break your silence more than hearing lies about yourself. But remember this, the truth doesn't need defending. The people who matter, the ones who truly see you, will know. And the ones who believe the lies, they were never on your side to begin with. This is where real strength is required, not in fighting back, not in proving your innocence, but in letting go completely, in refusing to engage, in knowing that your peace is far more valuable than any temporary satisfaction of defending yourself. Because when you respond, when you try to correct the narrative, you are still playing their game. And the only way to win a game with toxic people is to stop playing altogether. It takes discipline, it takes self-control, but most of all, it takes trust. Trust that you are making room for better things. Trust that life will replace what you lost with something greater. Trust that by choosing yourself, you are setting a new standard for how you will be treated from this moment forward. Because when you remove toxicity from your life, something incredible happens. You start attracting peace. You start attracting people who don't make you question your worth. You start finding opportunities that were always meant for you, but were blocked by the energy of people who were never meant to stay. This is what happens when you finally let go. You stop searching for closure. You stop replaying conversations in your head. You stop waiting for an apology that will never come. And instead, you move forward without guilt, without regret, without looking back. Because the moment you truly walk away, you realize something profound. You never needed them. They needed you. And without you, they lose access to the power they once had over you. And that in itself is the greatest revenge. Not anger, not proving a point, just peace. There is a moment when everything becomes clear, when you realize that holding on to the past is the only thing stopping you from stepping into your future. It's not the pain that's holding you back. It's not even the memories. It's the attachment to a version of yourself that was willing to tolerate less than what you deserved. That version of you is gone now. You are no longer the person who waits for someone to appreciate you. You are no longer the person who justifies mistreatment because of history. You have grown, evolved, and seen the truth for what it is. And that truth is simple. Some people were never meant to go where you're headed. But here's the real challenge. Letting go is not just about walking away. It's about staying away. Because the hardest part is not the goodbye. It's not even the silence that follows. It's the temptation to go back. The urge to check their social media, to wonder if they regret losing you, to hope that maybe, just maybe, they have changed. But deep down, you already know the answer. People don't change unless they want to. And someone who repeatedly disrespected you, took you for granted, or made you feel small, never saw you as a priority in the first place. If they truly valued you, they would never have put you in a position where you had to question your worth. So why do we struggle to move on? Because we mistake comfort for love. We convince ourselves that the pain of staying is better than the fear of the unknown. But what if the unknown is where your peace lives? What if everything you've been looking for is waiting for you on the other side of letting go? Think about this. Every time you take a step forward and then look back, you are delaying your own growth. You are keeping yourself stuck in a chapter that has already ended. You are robbing yourself of the freedom that comes with finally releasing what was never meant to be yours. And here's the truth most people don't want to accept. Healing is a choice. It's not about time. It's about a decision. A decision to stop waiting for closure. A decision to stop hoping for an apology. A decision to finally put yourself first. The moment you decide to move on, everything shifts. You start to see things for what they are, not for what you wanted them to be. You stop making excuses for people who wouldn't make excuses for you. You stop romanticizing the past and start embracing the future that is unfolding in front of you. And that future is full of possibilities, new connections, new opportunities, a new version of you who refuses to settle for less. Because the person you are becoming is no longer available for situations that drain you. You are no longer available for conversations that leave you feeling empty. You are no longer available for people who make you question your own worth. You are now someone who values peace over chaos, someone who understands that walking away is not weakness, it is strength. That refusing to engage in drama is not avoidance, it is wisdom. That choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. And the best part, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't have to justify why you stopped replying. You don't have to explain why you're no longer available. You simply move in silence and let your growth speak for itself. Because in the end, the greatest transformation happens when you stop chasing people and start chasing your own purpose. When you stop begging for love and start loving yourself. When you stop waiting for someone to give you what you deserve and start giving it to yourself. That is when everything changes. That is when you finally become unstoppable. There comes a moment when you stop waiting for people to understand you, waiting for someone to finally treat you right, waiting for life to hand you the happiness you thought would come from others. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to wake up one day and suddenly give you the love, the respect, or the effort you've been craving. And that's not a bad thing. It's freedom. It means that everything you want is already in your hands. But first, you have to decide. Decide that you are done begging for things that should be freely given. Decide that you are done explaining yourself to people who were never listening. Decide that you are done shrinking yourself to fit into places that were never meant for you. Because the moment you decide, you take your power back. The power that was buried under every disappointment. The power that was silenced by every moment you tolerated less than you deserved. The power that was lost when you kept giving and giving, hoping someone would finally see your worth. But now, you see it. And that changes everything. Because when you finally see your worth, you stop trying to prove it. You stop trying to convince people to appreciate you. You stop trying to force connections that should have come naturally. Instead, you walk away from anything that doesn't align with your value. And that's when the real transformation begins. Suddenly, you stop reacting, you stop explaining, you stop feeling the need to justify your decisions. You simply move differently. And when you move differently, people notice. The ones who once took you for granted start wondering why they no longer have access to you. The ones who thought you'd always be there start realizing that they lost something rare, but by then it's too late, because you are no longer looking back. And here's what happens next. Your energy changes. You start attracting different experiences, different people, different opportunities. Not because you're trying harder, but because you are no longer operating from a place of lack. You are no longer looking for someone to complete you because you have already made yourself whole. You start prioritizing your peace. You start saying no without guilt. You start setting boundaries that protect your energy. And the more you do this, the more you realize that self-respect is the foundation of everything. Because the world doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you demand. If you allow disrespect, you will keep experiencing it. If you accept half-hearted effort, that's all you will receive. But when you start showing up as someone who refuses to settle, the universe adjusts. People start treating you differently. Opportunities start aligning in ways you never expected. And most importantly, you start feeling different. You feel lighter. You feel stronger. You feel like someone who finally understands their worth. And that kind of energy, it's magnetic. It draws in the right people. It repels the wrong ones. It creates a life where you are no longer surviving, you are thriving. But it all starts with a decision. The decision to stop settling. The decision to stop explaining yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. The decision to choose yourself fully, unapologetically, and without hesitation. Because at the end of the day, you don't need more time to think about it. You don't need more proof that certain people will never change. You don't need another excuse to stay in places that drain you. You just need to trust yourself enough to walk away. And when you do, everything falls into place. There is a moment when everything becomes clear, when you realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the willingness to let go. Let go of the people who drain you. Let go of the thoughts that limit you. Let go of the fear that keeps you in places that no longer serve you. Because the truth is, growth is uncomfortable. It forces you to leave behind what is familiar, even when it feels safe. It demands that you walk away from anything that no longer aligns with the person you are becoming. And that's not easy. But staying where you don't belong, that's even harder. You've spent too much time waiting for people to understand you, hoping they'll change, wishing they'd finally see your worth, but they won't. Not because you're not valuable, but because some people will never be capable of appreciating what you bring to the table. And that's okay, because their inability to see your worth does not diminish it. What matters now is what you do with that realization. Do you keep pouring into people who never pour back? Do you keep explaining yourself to those who were never listening? Or do you finally step into the power that has been waiting for you all along? Because the moment you choose yourself, everything shifts. You stop settling for one-sided relationships. You stop chasing people who make you feel like you're hard to love. You stop waiting for permission to take up space, to speak your truth, to live your life the way you were meant to. And when you do, you start attracting exactly what you deserve. People who value your presence, opportunities that align with your purpose, situations that don't drain you but energize you. Because when you stop tolerating less, the universe responds by giving you more. But here's what no one tells you. Choosing yourself will upset people. The ones who benefited from your silence will be uncomfortable when you start speaking up. The ones who relied on your lack of boundaries will resent you when you start enforcing them. The ones who took you for granted will be shocked when you finally walk away. And you have to be okay with that. Because your growth is not meant to make others comfortable. Your happiness is not dependent on their approval. Your self-worth is not something that needs validation. You are allowed to outgrow people. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve into someone who no longer tolerates what they once accepted. That's not betrayal. That's self-respect. And the more you honor yourself, the more you realize that peace is priceless, that your energy is sacred, that you were never meant to spend your life proving your worth to people who refuse to see it. Because real love, real respect, real connection, it doesn't require begging. It doesn't require chasing. It doesn't require you to become less so someone else can feel like more. And once you truly understand that, you become unstoppable. Because now you are no longer seeking validation. You are no longer attached to outcomes that don't serve you. You are no longer afraid of being alone because you have found something far greater, yourself. And that changes everything. There comes a time when you realize that everything you've been searching for has been inside you all along. You've spent years trying to meet expectations, trying to fit into places that never truly felt like home. You've given your energy to people who never deserved it, hoping they'd see you, hoping they'd understand, but now you see things differently. Because the moment you stop seeking external validation, you start living, truly living. You stop shaping yourself into a version that pleases others and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. That's when everything changes. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself. You no longer waste time convincing people to stay. You no longer hold on to things that are breaking you just because you're afraid of what will happen if you let go. And that's the real shift. The moment you stop being afraid to lose people and start being afraid of losing yourself. Because when you choose yourself, you unlock a different level of peace. You start to realize that not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should have a seat at your table. Not everyone should be allowed into your mind, your energy, your life. Not because you're better than them, but because you finally understand your worth. People will try to make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. They will call you selfish for prioritizing your own happiness. They will accuse you of changing because you no longer tolerate their disrespect. But the truth is, you didn't change. You just finally saw things for what they were. And that's what growth is. Growth is realizing that some people only loved you when you were easy to control. Growth is understanding that just because you have history with someone doesn't mean they deserve a future with you. Growth is refusing to dim your light just to make someone else comfortable. Because the right people won't ask you to shrink. The right people won't require you to become less so they can feel like more. The right people will see your strength and respect it, not try to weaken it. And those are the people who matter. So stop explaining yourself to those who were never listening. Stop giving second chances to people who took advantage of the first. Stop settling for relationships that drain you more than they nourish you. Because you were not put on this earth to be half-loved, to be tolerated, to be an afterthought. You were meant to be appreciated, valued, cherished. And the moment you realize that is the moment you stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to take up space. You were never too much. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong people. So now You move differently. You protect your peace. You set boundaries, not as a way to push people away, but as a way to protect the energy you worked so hard to build. You no longer entertain situations that disturb your inner calm. You no longer tolerate what drains your spirit. And you realize that peace isn't something you find in another person, another place, or another achievement. Peace is something you build within yourself. It's a decision, a choice, a way of life. So let them talk. Let them misunderstand you. Let them create their own stories about who you are. It's not your job to prove them wrong. It's not your job to convince them of your worth. Your job is to keep moving forward, to keep growing, to keep evolving into the person you were meant to be. Because when you do that, the right people will find you. The right opportunities will align. The right kind of love will come effortlessly. And when it does, you'll understand why nothing before it ever worked. Because you were never meant to live in a space where you had to beg to be seen. You were always meant to be exactly where you are now, free. At some point, you stop chasing. You stop running after things that aren't meant for you. You stop begging for love, for attention, for respect. You stop trying to prove your worth to people who were never capable of seeing it. And in that moment, everything shifts. Because when you let go of what's draining you, you make space for what will truly fulfill you. You stop fighting for connections that should flow naturally. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You stop apologizing for being exactly who you are. And that's where true power begins. You realize that your energy is valuable, that your time is precious, that not everyone deserves access to you, and so you start moving differently. You start walking away from situations that no longer serve you. You start protecting your peace like it's the most important thing in the world, because it is. And suddenly life becomes lighter. You no longer wake up feeling anxious about people who don't matter. You no longer waste nights overthinking conversations that didn't deserve your energy in the first place. You no longer hold on to the past, hoping it will somehow fix itself. You accept that some things are meant to end, some people are meant to leave, some doors are meant to close, and instead of fighting it, you embrace it. Because the moment you surrender to life instead of resisting it, you start to experience a freedom like never before. You stop fearing the unknown. You stop holding on to what's safe just because it's familiar. You stop settling for less than you deserve. And for the first time, you realize that the things you once feared losing were never truly yours to begin with. Because what's meant for you will never require you to chase it. It won't require you to shrink, to beg, to suffer. It won't leave you confused, second-guessing, or doubting your worth. What's meant for you will flow, it will feel effortless, it will align with your growth, not fight against it. And when you understand this, you stop forcing things. You stop forcing people to love you the way you deserve. You stop forcing situations to work that were never meant to. You stop forcing yourself into spaces that weren't built for you. You simply allow. You allow yourself to grow, to heal, to evolve, to become everything you were always meant to be. And in doing so, you attract the kind of life that once felt impossible. You attract people who genuinely see you, who appreciate you, who value you without conditions. You attract experiences that make your soul feel alive instead of ones that drain you. You attract opportunities that feel right because they are. And suddenly you understand why nothing before this moment ever truly felt like home, because you were always meant for more. So now you move with confidence. You no longer explain your decisions to those who don't understand them. You no longer tolerate what disturbs your peace. You no longer entertain what doesn't align with your growth. And that is the real transformation. Not the kind that happens overnight, but the kind that comes from years of learning, of unlearning, of healing, of choosing yourself over and over again. Because that is what it means to truly be free. Not just free from toxic relationships or painful memories, but free from the need for validation, free from the fear of being alone, free from the expectations that were never yours to carry. It's knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are, that you always have been, that you always will be. And once you realize that, once you truly understand it, there is no going back. Because once you taste true freedom, you will never settle for anything less again.